What's up, everybody? It's N to the E to the O. You already know Neil from the Babbletalk Podcast coming to you once again for another episode. I got the Otaku Crew with me today, another podcast group. We're going to talk about some epic anime topics and more. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. You can go ahead, Lee.
Yes, hi. Name is Wiseman Lee from the Otaku Crew Podcast. I would like to thank Neo from Babbletalk Podcast for inviting us. And we're going to talk some good stuff anime here.
All right. Go ahead. Let them know who you are.
All right, perfect. What's going on, everyone? This is Leipon here. I'm the co-founder of the Otaku Crew podcast. And yeah, I'm honored to be on another fellow podcaster's platform and be amongst a bunch of weebs.
Yeah. Man, I probably told them too that, I'm the other co-founder podcast. My bad.
It's all good.
Intro.
You don't goof.
It's all good, you guys. All right, everybody on the Babbletalk Podcast. We are talking about Tokyo Rangers, one of the anime that we both have seen. I've seen a little bit of it. I know the good information about the show. If you've seen it, comment down below. Comment what other animes that you like that is similar to Tokyo Revengers. All right, let's get into it. All right, you guys. From Tokyo Revengers, what do you like most about the show, and why did you keep watching it?
Before that, do you think we should give our audience a bit of a backstory synopsis on what the show's about?
Yeah, we can do that. You can go ahead and explain the show.
Yep. You want me to take over, or do you want to go Leifon?
You can do it since you're the diehard fan.
Okay, I'll do my best. So, the story takes place, of course, in Japan, and we're seeing our main character, whose name is Takemichi Hanagaki, or the other way, Hanagaki Takemichi, who is an adult that does a mundane job of working at a video store and pretty much has nothing going on in his life. And then one day, what happens is that he gets pushed onto the train tracks where he's about to die, but somehow he is time traveled 12 years into the past and comes back as a high school kid and is pretty much trying to navigate his way around in the past in order to prevent a very bad situation in the future, a very bad event in the future. And pretty much the bad event is pretty much to his girl dies in the future, so he goes back in time in order to prevent that. Is that the best? Is that pretty much good enough, guys?
Yeah, it's pretty much on the head of the show.
Just one thing I would mention though.
Mm-hmm.
Takemichi is not in high school, man. He's in freaking middle school.
My bad. I get confused between that. Wait, so how old is he in the show then?
I think 13.
Something like that, but apparently in middle school, because they said in season 2, the guy that they're going to go fight, the big bad guy, he's 2 years older than us in middle school.
Let's not go there yet. But yeah, so pretty much he has to go back in time.
I won't go that far, yeah.
So yeah, but that's it. He goes back in time in order to infiltrate a gang, because that gang becomes a big organization that pretty much kills his girlfriend. So he has to infiltrate that gang in order to stop that future from happening. That's the best to describe that show. Sorry, again, I went a bit off track, but I tried to reconnect my thoughts and get back to it. So that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much the story of the Tokyo Revengers. So pretty much I counted as if you ever see the movie The Butterfly Effect.
Yeah.
Mixed with high school drama shenanigans that's happening in any high school movie. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. When I was watching the show, that's the first thing that came to my mind was that movie. I was like, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So, back to the original question. Why do you like it? Why do you like it? Why do you keep watching it? And how many episodes did it take for you to be 100% invested into it?
With me, that I'm a sucker for a story with an underdog, and it's someone we like, a character we can sort of see struggle. With Takemichi, very specifically, you see his development from, well, when he goes back to the past, of course, is that this is where he started, and he had to face his own fears to get to where he is now. And with that, he's not like some broken main character isekai to another world, has a harem thing going on. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
I literally despise a lot of those factors. He is like an everyday guy who had to face adversity to overcome it, and that's why I find he's such an interesting character to look at, because he's not a fighter either. He's someone who wants to do the right thing for the right reasons without there being a benefit for him. But ultimately, we know his goal, why he travels back to the past, so he's trying to change it. That's why I like it. And I'd say around maybe episode 1, episode 2, I was already like, I like this. And the opening, chef's kiss.
Okay. I feel you on that. I have another question, but I want to see Lee's answer about it.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same reason. It's a story on about the weakest guy who's trying to but pretty much like for me, what I like is that he's trying to stop a dark future from happening, right? So there's kind of a thriller involved into it with time travel twist to it. So it's very interesting to see that. And I think it's just a story that kind of gets me for me, like in the show, and continuing watching the show, of course. But I have to admit, though, as the main character, Takemichi is the worst, man. This guy is a complete idiot. He does not know what's happening. They gave the power to the wrong person, because unfortunately, like, if you go see throughout the show, every season 1, he's not doing so good, my guy.
Okay. Now, you say he's the worst character, right? Now, for me, let me give out an answer. I know a lot about it from like everybody that was talking about it. When I watch anime, I would kind of wait a little bit later on to watch it, because too many people was talking about the show all at once, and I wanna enjoy watching it, you know. So I stay away from spoilers and everything like that. But I would say a few episodes in, I was invested into it. I think it's a very good show. You know, it's not boring. It gets straight to the point. Some parts, you know, they try to do some comedy stuff. I'm like, man, just get back to the main reason why we here watching this. You know, now you said something interesting that came to mind, both of you guys. So, do you think he's a better character than Deku from My Hero? Or you think Deku is better? Or are they kind of the same? Where is your mindset with the character development, their motives, and everything?
It's hard to compare, because comparing him to Deku is different, because Deku is that he's mostly prepared on what task he has to do, because you remember in My Hero, like he has the My Hero book, right, where he has all the information of the heroes listed down.
Mm-hmm.
So Deku has more of a level head where he understands the situation and knows how to react. Takemichi would be like, okay, I'm gonna do this to change the future, and then somehow it ends up so bad that something else happened, and he's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? How do I react? And mind you, Takemichi is in the gang, but I feel like he's a fish out of water, because he does not belong in that environment. Like, this guy cannot fight for his life. So,
I thought he would get better, but yeah, you're right. I thought he would get better. Like, from what I was seeing over the internet, I thought it was going to be about Mikey. I thought he was the main character the whole time, because I kept seeing him. I kept seeing people talking about. But then I see, because at first, when he had the blonde hair, I was like, oh, maybe he's time traveling back to how he looked before or whatever. But that wasn't the case. I was totally off. But I don't know. I agree with you. Like, yeah, Deku have a level head. You know, got the little My Hero book of all the heroes. But I don't know. I feel like they're kind of similar when it comes down to certain things that drives them to do what they do.
I mean, it's all for the benefit of the good. It's fight for the good reasons, of course.
Yeah.
The moral high ground and everything. But the way they go about it, their methods is completely different. You can just say that for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, Deku's more prepared. Takemichi, he has an idea what to do, but literally has no backup plan, and when things go south, he cannot control it. Goes out of hand.
Sometimes Deku know what to do. Sometimes he's like, I just break all the bones in my body and hope for the
Yeah,
best.
okay, we'll say that. Yeah, say that.
And then if I win, great. If I lose, I got to use my eyes. Then I'm gonna use every inch of my body and my soul to win this fight. But yeah, I agree with you. Now, throughout the series, it talks a lot. It's a lot about gangs and middle school gangs and high school gangs and stuff like that. Do you feel that correlates to our real world society that we're living now? Is it similar, or is it a little bit fabricated of where they portray gangs in the show?
Well, that's a tough one because I'm gonna be honest. I'm basing my answer off of K-drama, the Japanese dramas you often see in high school or sometimes late middle school. These characters are getting jumped left, right, and center. It's like after school they get jumped outside their house. At work they're getting humiliated. They get taken to the bathroom, beaten up, and all that. I'm like, what is with these kids and what are they on? Like, oh my god. But I'd say that anime in general often takes a motif of the hoodlum aspect. And maybe at times they try to make it very grand.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know, second or third episode, we see there's a whole fight club going on. I'm like, nobody's saying anything? I find that weird. Like, no police or anyone passing by. They're in a park.
An open field.
And they're just fighting. And so I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's a little overkill. But maybe these things do happen. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I feel like...
I don't know. I feel like...
Japan wouldn't.
With that being said, from like a different anime I have seen, is like if you take it from like, if you've seen JoJo, right? In one of the seasons they have it where in one of the seasons they have it where they pay the cops and stuff, you know, and whatnot. So it's like maybe it's similar to that where the cops is like, you know what, this is more trouble than I'm getting paid to do. So I'm gonna let it be. Or maybe like
I actually agree with you on that, yeah.
You know, maybe it's just too much to stop these kids. They're like, maybe let the kids just beat each other, and then once they get tired of getting beat up, they'll move away. You know.
If I may interject.
Yeah.
I just want to ask Leifon. So you're kind of basing your answer on the K-dramas, Japanese dramas, all that, right? But would you say that those K-dramas and Japanese dramas are also reflective of real life?
That's a tough one, honestly. As much as I want to say yes, I don't have any like data that would actually reflect that. I don't read enough about it to know definitely that this is the actual ongoing issue in said countries. But anime is just always something that likes to take things, metamorphosize it a bit, and just blow it out proportion. Now, with your example from JoJo, it's very accurate. People who are getting hit, but they're not actually touching each other with the stands fighting. People are like, what's going on? But something I can appreciate, though, in anime and everything alike, is that silly hairdo that Gangster has. You know how they crouch down? They have that weird hairdo that looks like, I don't know, a giant hot dog or something.
Yeah.
I can appreciate how they make even something like that, something sensitive like gangsters and hoodlums, comedic.
So same as from Yu Yu Hakusho, Kabara, like his hair.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I know a little bit of anime people. I know a little bit about the anime world. I feel you on that. Okay. Now you mentioned. I've seen a few K-dramas and stuff, and I see where they get their inspiration from like the Western films and stuff like that. When it comes to bullying and stuff, like, you ever seen Spider-Man and the first one, how he's getting bullied and stuff, but then he slowly changed after he got bit by that spider, and things in his life change kind of for the better, but also is going downhill, you know. So I feel like for Michi, it's kind of the same way. Like, he's trying his best, but everything he'll do something right, and then 10 other things will fail, and then he try to fix one of the things. But then the first thing he did also failed because he tried to change something up. So I get what you're saying. But what other anime that is similar to Tokyo Revengers. You want the people to know so they can also watch and get their opinions about it. What's a few that's kind of similar but might be better?
There's no other anime I could think of that. Well, there might be other animes out there that also has the theme of time travel behind it. So like Steins Gate, I think is one also.
Yeah.
Never gone to it, but I think this Tokyo Revengers anime is more unique because it's diving into the life of gangs and what gang life is like and what hardships they have to go through.
But not necessarily gang related.
I have to interject, but
not necessarily gang related, but more of like the same synopsis of a rivalry or between two groups of people. I have a long list here, people, of shows. So I'm gonna give out a few after I hear what they have
I think Mayfawn wanted to interject and say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I was trying to determine what we were basing on. Something similar to Tokyo Revengers. Was it the aspect of time travel or
both?
The aspect of gangster violence and all that. Now, for something that has both, that would be very difficult. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I can't think of one that has both.
But time travel doesn't have
maybe
to mean...
fine. Your Name has a small time travel. Small time travel, but not gangster related. Sorry, but the closest anime I could think of that really portrays the gangster culture, whether that be mafia, the cartel, or the yakuza, etc. I would say it would have to be the anime called Gangster. It's literally called Gang.
Yeah, I know that one. I've seen that one. What about?
It's an older. You know what I mean.
I know. What about? I see a few. One is called Excel World, right? Which a lot of people might have heard of it, might have not. It's basically
a lot of bullying.
That one got if you've seen it, got a lot of bullying in it and stuff like that. Two different groups, two people from two different lives.
Is that the isekai one?
I think so.
No, it's more Sword Art. Call out to Monado.
So basically,
that's it. So it's going into the virtual world, right? Like
so that's kind of like a time travel is niche of just going to a different place in a different time zone. It's how I'm looking at it from Tokyo Revengers, because from Sword Art Online, this is like an extension of Sword Art Online, because at the end, if people have, everybody's just seen it, so spoilers. If you haven't seen it, that's your fault. At the end of Sword Art Online of season 1 or 2, they had the seed of the world, and it branched out to different video games and stuff like that. So Excel is a part of that nest of that tree. Another one is, if you have seen, it's called Air Gear. If you think about it, it's kind of similar, not time travel, but gang related in a way.
Okay.
Or La Familia.
I've heard of it, but never seen it.
We have something similar to that. Or Blood Lad. Have you seen Blood Lad? It's basically about this vampire dude who's also a otaku. He loves the Earth world, so it's different worlds. It's the underworld of monsters, and then it's humans or whatever, right? And in the anime, it's the main character. He watch anime, then he like do a move from anime, and when you see, there's a lot of anime references from it. But it's different games, different territories
I remember that one.
you rule under and stuff like that. So that's kind of similar to that. Not time travel related, but gang related, on where grounds of what people can do and what people can say. Because if you remember Tokyo Revengers, they was really hyped on, Michi and his friends really hyped on, like, oh, who is these kids? And then, like, do you go to this middle school, whatever? And, like, these are some average kids going home. Why are you messing with these kids, you know? But, like, oh, if you go to this school, then you're a problem. If you're a problem, you got a problem with me, so let's fight about it, you know? So it's just those nuances that make you think about, okay, it's similarities, but the way they take an approach on it is very different. You can say kind of like Dr. Stone in a way, when the protagonist is like trying to rule, like, well, I mean, you smart, but I got muscles, so what you trying to do, you know? Like, which is better, brains or bronze, you know? something like that, or Gantz. Not really gang related, but time travel related, where they died, went to another world, and the only way you can live or go back to that world if you win the game, type deal. Something like that. If you think about
it. Actually, Neil, I want to interject there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you finished your thought though.
No, I was done. That was the last thing I could
Since
find
we're
on my list.
sort of naming animes that play on like the themes of time travel as well as gang.
Yeah.
How do I say it? Gang culture. I keep saying culture. I'm going to try and find a better word. We can argue that Cowboy Bebop is somewhat similar. The future. We got the syndicate and all those things set up.
True, but I don't think Cowboy Bebop plays with time travel. They're not going back in time and stuff like that. But there definitely is the Western mafia kind of
not
vibe
necessarily. There. It's more, I think, where he was going with it is not. It might not be time travel based, but it is a lot of past references that they make in the show. Like they reminisce mostly on the past of everything. So that's kind of similar to Tokyo. They going back in the past. They keep reminiscing on the past and basing all their actions on what happened back then with Spike, with the woman and everything, with Julia, that he trying to fix the past, but he can't. Faye trying to figure out her past, but trying to go forward in the future. But she's tied to the past.
It's more reminiscing of the past.
Yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah, flashbacks a lot in that in the anime. That's how I take it from the perspective of time travel for them, for what they're going through. If you look at it from that lens.
Yeah, no, I could see it in that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that perspective.
Yeah.
But I find also that time travel itself has always been an interesting concept in anime. Like I found it's used differently, and that's what makes it so brilliant. For example, Takemichi, he's got a shake now to his hand, goes back to the past. The girl who leaked through time.
I do like that though. That's like pretty much a trigger for him to go back in the past, because he can't just willingly do it down his own. So I do
Which works. So it makes it less broken.
Yeah.
But
the other interesting thing about the time travel in Tokyo Revengers is that when he's going back to the future, right? His past self is like an autopilot and doing whatever he wants also. And then when he travels back in the past, he doesn't remember what his autopilot self did also. So it's a very interesting way of doing time travel in this series.
Well, didn't they say in season 1 he's just unconscious or something?
Usually. You mean his future self is unconscious? Or?
Yeah, until he actually wakes up.
Yeah, but the thing, if you're unconscious in the future, if you're in the future and you're unconscious, but then your past self, he's got to be doing something. It's not like he's completely sleeping. He's probably doing other stuff. I don't know. Oh, there's a good reference I could do. Maybe the Adam Sandler movie Click.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So remember when Adam Sandler, he's what's it called, using the remote control to skip to the future or go in the past, but when he's doing that, like his body is in autopilot. That's what Christopher Walken kind of explained to him, that your body's on autopilot. He's doing whatever he does in his usual day and stuff.
I see what you're saying. I think I'm saying the same thing, but maybe not. The way I'm thinking about it is when it comes down to when he goes to the past, right? And when I was watching it, he's laying down. He's unconscious. He's not moving. In that period of time, I don't know if they said in season 2 or not, but how long is he asleep for? Is it a couple of minutes, a few hours, a few days? Because I'm going based on, I think it's a few days, because I know he lost his job because he didn't show up. But then I'm thinking about, like, at certain points of time when he's traveling back to time, going back to the past, is ain't nobody worrying about him? Like, man, I haven't seen Michi in about 3 days, 5 days. He don't have a job anymore. I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen him in school. Like,
no, I agree. I think when he travels to the past, his future body, Naoto, his partner, the police detective, he has to look after his body. Yeah. Because that's when he's the most vulnerable. But then the past version of him also is, I don't think he's unconscious and vulnerable. He's still doing the daily activities throughout the day and stuff. Because remember, the one time he traveled to the past, he wound up with the girl that Draken that likes Draken. Remember, she was down in her underwear, and then he's like, "Oh, how did I get here? How did I?"
He was a lucky man that day. That should have been me, but that's for a different episode. You feel?
You could just stop the story, stop the anime. That's how it ends.
You know, but
he doesn't save the girl.
I agree with you, but I think when he travels to the past, because he already lived the past. You know what I'm saying? He's still living his future, but he already lived the past. So everything. I feel like once he's changing small things about the past, it's kind of changing his future slowly, but he's still living the day-to-day of everything he did. But when he's going back in the past, that certain day, he does something different, but the next day, he's doing the same routine until he traveled back. So I think on gap days of when he traveling, everything is the same until he go back in time that day, and then be like, okay, I'm doing something different. And then next day, I'm in the future. But that day that he went back is just a normal day. Like, he did what he did the past day, he still remembers. But it's like, okay, that happens, that fight happened, but I'm going to school, eating lunch, doing what I got to do.
But do you ever notice how when he travels back in the past, he does not recall some certain past events? He's like, oh, wait, this happened? I don't remember this and stuff, you know? He always has that kind of like time amnesia thing where he's like, oh, I don't remember this happening in the past. So I wonder if because he's traveling so much of the time, that's why it's giving him like memory fog or something. I really know. But, you know, time travel, it's always been like a very interesting theme and cliche to use in certain media like movies and TV shows and whatnot. But trying to lay out the rules and groundwork of time travel, it's very hard because everyone has their own perspective on how time travel works. So there's a very interesting angle to take towards in time travel. But like I said, time travel, it's not easy to explain. It's very complicated. It's like, you know.
Well, I want to build on that, actually. I like the integration of time travel in that other people around him notice when he's not himself. For example, season 2, like, what's his name? Chifuyu. He says, he's like, you always act different. You're acting one way at one point, and then suddenly you just change. So I like that other characters are aware somewhat, if they pay attention, that this is happening. They're not just like,
pay attention. I think his girlfriend was the first one to notice it. The girl he likes, or whatever they are, in season 1, she noticed right away.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I think he just at some point, I don't know. Overall, what would you rate season 1 out of 10?
Oh yeah, I mean, you want to go first, Leifon, or?
Yeah, why not? So thing is, it's hard to compare with season 2 because season 2 is not done yet, still ongoing. But
wait, Leifon, I should let you know. Neo told me he hasn't watched season 2 yet, so try not to spoil season 2 yet.
It's all good.
I'm
gonna block it all out, so it's all good. It's all good.
I would say I enjoyed it as much as any other person. It was like, oh, this is something different. It's not overly used, and I'm like, okay, why not? I'll stick around. And it literally plays on the aspects I enjoy. Like, I want to see the MC struggle. I want to see his growth, and he doesn't always have to be the hero. It's like. I like how it's distributed amongst his other friends who are like, we're going to be part of the gang too. We're all going to be in this together. I'm like, oh, the bros got my back.
Okay. I feel you.
So season 1, I would recommend it. I'm curious to see where season 2 goes because this is not going to be a real surprise, I find, is that in season 1, we see Takemichi, like, he goes back and forth in the timeline. But in season 2, we haven't hit that point yet where he goes in between. He's still stuck in the past. So I'm like, how long will his body last on the other side? Or what is going on how's the future being shaped? So there's a suspense element to it. And I like how Tokyo Revengers does that because every time he wakes up, I'm like, oh, okay. You see the girl, oh, wait, no, there's that guy. Yeah. There's Hanma. And all that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. I give it a good I don't know. For season 1, almost done with it. So far, I do recommend it. It's a good show to recommend to someone who wanna watch an anime similar to that. So I give it a good 7 out of 10, just because I haven't seen season 2 yet. So the series itself is good. You know, it's not bad. It's very enjoyable. You can watch it. You can binge it in a day or two. So yeah, I enjoy it. Give it a
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think I'd give it like also a solid 7 out of 10. It's an enjoyable anime. You know, it has the slice of life. It's like a slice of life anime if you think about it, with just a bit of exaggeration and time travel, of course, involved and everything. And so our main character, you know, he's kind of relatable. He does struggle a lot. It's just that sometimes, as an audience, the viewer, you would kind of get frustrated with him because you want him to do more, or at least like better himself, so he can actually accomplish more. And definitely not the strongest protagonist yet. Hopefully he'll get better in the future, but I really cannot say. Even at season 2, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah.
All right, you guys. If you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go follow them on their social media. It will all be linked down below. Peace out. Have a good one. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.